up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So we're back in the garage today, obviously working on the E30 here, and I know last video I talked about getting this car cleaned up, polished a little bit, and I actually started that behind the scenes. As you can see, the paint is pretty clear. It's in a lot better of a condition than it was before, but I quickly noticed that this paint is a little bit too far gone. You can't really tell on camera, but there's a lot of watermarks that are really embedded into the paint. There's a lot of deep scratches, as you can see right here. There's more areas on the trunk. I even went ahead and compounded and polished the entire hood, but as you can see, the paint is just really bad. There's a lot of deep blemishes. So the most that we can do right now is just leave it and hopefully wet sand it. So going forward, I do plan on getting a new set of fenders. So these ones will be taken off, thrown away, whatever I do decide to do with them. But this is the first piece of the car that I'm gonna go ahead and wet sand, then compound, then polish, and see how that comes out. If that gives me a good benefit, I'll start doing that on the rest of the car again until we get this car painted, because that's not gonna happen until closer to the end of the year. So we have some time with the car being black, and I want it to look a little bit better than it does. Now, once I did go ahead and compound and polish the hood, it did come out a lot better. A lot of the haze is gone now, but you can still see the crazy amounts of imperfections in the paint, and I really don't like how it looks. So I think wet sanding is gonna be the best way to go about it, but that's not what we're doing today. In exactly 1 week's time, we need to send off the interior, all of it. So every piece, all the pieces that are stored away in that closet over there as well, need to be taken off and given to the guy to do all of the interior leather reupholstery. So last night I got bored and I came into the garage around 1 a.m. and I started working on the car, and I made some very good progress. As you can see, I got my cluster out. I got all the wires labeled so I know where everything goes. So this is the green cluster plug. So this goes on the left side. I know where that goes. I got the other cluster plugs right here. I got most of this center console area out. Radio's gone, all the buttons, switches, knobs, everything got taken off. And then we even have all of our buttons sitting here. So I took all of these out of the car and I went ahead and just marked everything with a little description of where it goes so that I don't lose it. And even with all of the other interior pieces, so I have the cluster bezel screws, so I know where those go. Lower kick panel screws, I marked everything just so I don't lose it. And then we even have the cluster right here itself. Now, I didn't record it because I know there's a few videos online of how to get the E30 dash out, but the hard part is still yet to come. I still need to remove the rest of this. For some reason, this part isn't popping out, so I'm guessing that there's a screw down there that I haven't got to yet. But majority of everything else was pretty simple, and now it's the hard part of getting that out and getting the entire dash out, unplugging all the wires and so on. So that's gonna be what we're focusing on today. We also need to remove these door cards here since those have yet to come off. And one thing I'm noticing about this car is that someone took this car apart before I did, and they didn't really do a good job of putting things back together. For example, this is the little tweeter speakers that fall right here in the corner of the door. And this thing just kind of popped off. It came off really easy and I wasn't sure why. And then I noticed that whoever took this apart before me never plugged the wires back into the speaker, so the speaker was never working. Broke this right here, so this just comes off, which is horrible. And they even broke the other mounting piece. So this piece connects right here, sits on that, just like this one, and this one is broken. So we need to go ahead somehow weld that back together, plastic weld it. But yeah, they just didn't care about it at all, and they just put everything back in half-assed, which really sucks because now I'm missing screws. And that kind of explains why the wiring was a mess and why my hood latch was broken and so on. So finding out a lot of things about this car now that I'm taking it apart. I think I also found out what that switch was underneath kick panel, and that was for a security system or for the security alarm, whatever. But I found those wires. I'm gonna go ahead and get the dash out, trace all of those down, just rip it out because I don't know why it was installed to begin with. But yeah, overall, it's been a fun process of getting most of that stuff out. Now we gotta start focusing on the actual dash itself. So I'm gonna put the camera down, get to it, and hopefully get this thing out pretty soon, and then we'll start tackling the door cards. So now we gotta start down here. Then it's a matter of just unbolting the actual dash itself way down there. And we gotta do that on both sides, but there's a bunch of other things that we need to disconnect here. So let's go ahead and jump into that first. Now, I just got this side of the dash loosened up. So now this is sitting free, and that just held in by this bracket right here. So we're getting pretty close. Now it's just a matter of doing it on the driver's side. I think it shouldn't be too hard on that side either. And then this dash should lift out, hopefully. That is the plan. And lastly, we got everything dropped from this side. I don't know what this is, but we got this thing loosened up. Whatever that thing is down here, got that loosened up as well. This is the headlight pulley. This is the one that sits right here, so that came out as well. There was about 6 bolts down here. Whatever I saw, I just loosened up, and it seemed to have worked because now the entire dash does jiggle up and down. You can move it back and forth, but it's getting stuck somewhere, and I'm not really sure where. So I need to kind of troubleshoot, make sure I'm not breaking anything. But as you can see, super loose, the whole thing's moving. But I feel like I'm missing 1 or 2 bolts, maybe. That's what it seems like. So yeah, I'm just gonna troubleshoot a little bit, see if I can find it, and hopefully get it loosened up and get it out. And usually I would say just like that, we got the dash out, but that was such a long, annoying, tedious process, especially with not trying to break stuff. I did unfortunately damage the dash right here when I was trying to remove it. I really couldn't figure out the best way to get it out. A lot of the video just showed people just simply pulling and it came out right away, but for me, I really need to finagle both sides, try to get the best leverage. I was trying my best not to break the little levers right here, and luckily I didn't. But as you can see, the entire car is a mess right now. I'm glad I labeled everything because this is super overwhelming to me. I don't think I would have remembered where everything goes if I didn't label it, but I'm glad that I did. I got everything labeled on this side. And the process is not done. We still need to remove the door cards for the front and the rears, but the scariest process is now complete, getting the dash out, and we're still not done with this. We still need to remove the vents. We still need to remove the inner vent tubes and whatever else. So yeah, not done yet. Still gonna continue on getting this thing cleaned up. And we finally got the entire car fully gutted. Other than that one seat that's still in there, obviously we need that, but everything is out. We got all 4 door cards off, so All of these are now naked, fronts as well. Yeah, honestly, this is super overwhelming. I'm beyond scared of putting everything back together and putting everything back together properly, because I really hope that I'm able to and I remember where everything goes, because this stuff is not gonna go in for the next 15, 16 days at the minimum. At this point, the plan is to drop this interior off hopefully tomorrow or maybe the day after that. That way, it's gonna take about 10 days for all the work to get done, and then we get the car back, or we get the interior back. In the meantime, we do need to clean up all the wiring. We do need to paint the floorboards, because right now that's just black primer that's on there. So I wanna paint those gloss black, get everything coated up so it's nice and protected. And then we also need to redo the headliner. As you can see, the headliner is one of the only things that's gonna stay this tan color. So I don't want that to happen with the new interior. I do want to get that changed out, get that to black. But overall, the garage is a mess. Everything is nice and labeled though. We got all our interior bits right here, switches, we got all the rest of the panels here, dash, door cards, and then we have a bunch more stuff sitting in that garage, in that closet. So yeah, we're making great progress on the car so far. In the next few videos, you'll see a lot more get done before the interior comes back. And hopefully we can finish all of that before the interior gets back, because as soon as it gets back, I want it back in the car so I can finally see this car kind of in a complete-ish stage. I think it's gonna be a nice little achievement or milestone for this entire build, and I'm really looking forward to it. So that's gonna be it for today's video. We got a lot of little stuff to do, as I just mentioned, so definitely stay tuned, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.